A very warm welcome to Daily Dispatch, a show that gives you all the latest news and updates from the digital ecosystem. I'm Priya Sheth. Thank you very much for logging in. Time now to get you all the top news stories that we've been tracking for you this evening. Well, first up, Mumbai-based automobile classifieds company Car Trade has converted itself from a private limited company to a public limited company via special resolution ahead of its initial public offering this year. Started in 2010, Car Trade offers its dealings across India with a strong network of more than 4,000 dealers. Well, moving on to the second headline of the day, Sustainable Environment and Ecological Development Society (SEEDS) has said it is committed to procure and disburse over 1,000 oxygen concentrators, 2,000 pulse oximeters and 20 oxygen generators in Delhi NCR region and Uttarakhand amid the raging pandemic. Well, KFin Technologies has acquired 17% stake in insurtech startup Artivatic.ai. With this acquisition, KFin Tech, which provides registry services to mutual funds, corporates, pensions, and other asset classes, will diversify into the insurtech space. Now, Artivatic.ai will be using the funds to broaden its product portfolio, explore new business horizons, and expand its footprint across India and other global markets. Well, moving on to the final headline of the day, contact tracing app Arogya Setu may soon be used to build a database of plasma donors who have recently recovered from COVID-19. Last week, the app revised its self-assessment tool to require people to update their information about their vaccination status as whether they are willing to donate plasma if they have been infected. Well, moving on to our second segment, I have with me someone who has made news with their platform over the last year. And almost everybody around has been using Zoom for video conferencing, for all important meetings. Students have been using Zoom for their school education. I have with me Sameer Rade from Zoom. Thank you very much for joining us today on the Daily Dispatch. I want to talk to you about the exponential growth that Zoom has seen over the last couple of months. Millions of subscribers have been added. Tell us about your journey over the last couple of months in terms of subscriber addition, as well as the kind of growth that you've seen overall.
Well, Priya, first and foremost, thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be with you and to meet your audience as well. So thank you very much. Well, I would say the journey of growth has been now not for a few months, but actually I think it's gone over a year now, and that's the difference, right? I mean, we all got into this virtual world, to be precise, a year back, or probably more so now. It was I think Feb or March, where we got into the lockdown mode, and we rushed into the virtual world, thinking that it's going to end very shortly, and rightfully so. And so some of the people were literally forced into this virtual world, while some were, they were already living in this virtual world. So we got into it, and however, 1 year down the line, I think we still don't see a end of tunnel. And I was just reading a report by World Economic Forum where it says that it will take at least 4 years for the international traffic and people to, getting back to normalcy. I mean, that's a huge time. 4 years is a very long time. So we did see a lot of growth, a lot of increase, and having or being from the collaboration world itself, I can say one thing. If somebody would have asked me that, is this kind of a growth possible? I would have probably said no at that moment of time. The kind of user base, the kind of numbers that we are seeing, probably it would have taken a couple of few more years to reach that, and any organization would. But this just happened overnight. So we went from 100 to 300 million participants a day on our platform from December to March last year, and now it's back to those peak usages which it was last year. So we saw a phenomenal growth, but not very proud because of the conditions that we are in and the conditions it were achieved in, because nobody wants to grow at the cost of humanity. But yeah, I mean, it's been a phenomenal growth the last 1 year or so.
Talk to us about the kind of backend, because when you have so much traffic that's using the platform, of course there needs to be some strengthening that needs to be done of core infrastructure. So how did you go about that? Because that seems like a very important part of the overall journey as well.
Absolutely, Priya, and that is one of the benefits of being a cloud-based service provider. where we can enhance our infrastructure based on the anticipated traffic. While we and knowing India's volumes, the sheer population that we have, we did take a day extra to build in capacity in India data centers. But globally, we were able to expand quite fast. We have close to about 19 data centers spread across the globe, and these some of them are our own, while some of them are colo with some other service providers or telcos. So, and the backend, of course, we have backend like Amazon Web Services and so on and so forth. So we can scale up quite fast, build up those capacity, and when we announced removing the 40 minutes cap for the K to 12 schools in India, we did take a day additional to ensure that we provide the right capacity so that there are no failures. So yeah, we could ramp up very fast. Even now, we can ramp up very fast because we have the capabilities, and we are always monitoring it. And we never go beyond certain threshold, like let's say 50-60% of threshold. We have to leave that capacity.
Tell us about the kind of growth that you've seen as far as paid subscribers are concerned, because have been a large number of users that have only been using Zoom as a free platform. So, what has been the growth and the shift that you've seen out there?
Well, again, the growth has been on both fronts, right? I mean, it has been on the paid as well as the free users both. It is not only the freemium users which grew. On one hand, we had the largest organizations like including the government or including the financial sectors, to technology companies, who have employees in hundreds and thousands of them, rolling it out to all the employee base because suddenly everybody was working from home. On the other hand, we have the smallest of the small individual traders, mom and pop stores, or even a housewife turned tutor who is, conducting our online coaching classes. So we grew in both these segments, enterprise as well as SMB across.
But if you were to look at a percentage of how many users are paid within your total user base in India, what would that percentage be?
I can't share. We are actually in a quiet period. I can't share the exact details of paid versus premium, and we don't do a country-specific numbers, right? Because we are a global multinational, and given the structure we are in, we usually don't do the country-based breakdowns.
Right. There are lots of interesting features that Zoom has managed to launch over the last couple of months. And I think the recent feature of virtual conferencing, where you have participants, on one panel, are there more such interesting features to come? What is in the pipeline for Zoom?
Well, absolutely. I mean, while, as an individual, you might think that we have some great features like immersive scenes, what you're talking about, what's called as immersive scenes. Well, that is fantastic, no doubt about it. I personally like it. But you know what? For an organization, we are coming with even better things, right? I mean, there are various other features which I think are even more rock solid. For example, just imagine walking into your office where you are able to interact with a virtual receptionist. That means receptionist is not there, but you are still able to talk. You're able to check your body temperature, and the company decides whether to let you in or not. You decide when you are entering a conference room about the oxygen levels or whether the capacity, whether you want to get. So we are helping you to remain safe when you're getting back to offices in the hybrid environment, right? Just 1 month, 1.5 months back, we were almost getting back to offices. And that's the kind of stuff we are doing, like exciting. We're allowing you to start your meetings without even touching anything in the conference room. You can just say, hey, Zoom, start my meeting, right? So that's the power of collaboration. We are bringing in a little bit of AI, artificial intelligence, a little bit of Internet of Things where you can actually monitor the lighting, the air conditioning, the CO2 levels, and so on and so forth in the room. And take a decision by yourself, and we are empowering your technology teams to help you take that decisions and monitor it. As an individual, yes, I mean, when you talk about Zoom as an application or Zoom as a video calling app, then the immersive screens and, there can be a lot of funny things you can do, like, I can put a false hat or a bandana and so on and so forth. So those are kind of stuff which we are trying to make it more human, because we've been living in the virtual world quite a lot, and there has to be a little bit of fun element as well for the meetings. So expect a lot of things to come.
When it comes to adding such new features, AI and different aspects, we also talk about investments, because of course there is a lot of money that's required to be pumped in for these innovations. So what is the kind of investment ballpark that we can expect for the coming year?
Again, I can't share the investment specific details in terms of absolute numbers, but it's a constant evolution for us in terms of our product teams. It's there are 2-3 pillars to this. First is the research and development team, which keep on researching and keep on bringing in new features and thinking through. The second is the product team itself, which goes and interacts, or we have heavy interactions with our customers themselves, asking them what they really want, what would they love to see next. And then between this is a fine line of security, right? Because again, in terms of security, not only do we need to keep you secure, but we also need to ensure that we bring in more robust security features and functionality, because cybercrime is growing. So we have something like end-to-end encryption right now. The option of making you having an option of having an end-to-end encrypted meeting or not having, it's in your hand. Choosing the data center where your data is going to, or you don't want a particular geography where your data is going to. So features, functionality, and security, these are 3 pillars. We continue to build on it and continue to interact. I can't give you the specific numbers, but I keep on telling my product team that by the time I get to know and learn all my features that they've recently launched, they're already out with a new version and tons of new features. So it's really difficult for us to keep it down.
I want to ask you one question, because at this point in time, we're seeing so many different apps offering video conferencing facilities. We've seen the people who've been there for a long time, and of course there's Zoom. What do you think you did right to be able to really sustain and sort of grow along with the kind of subscribers? Because migration to other platforms seems to be very easy and rampant these days.
So there are a couple of aspects. First and foremost, let me say that Zoom is not a video calling app, right? While everybody in individuals feel that it's a Zoom video calling app, it's a complete collaboration stack. So when you are heading into, let's say, a race, you definitely need a specific vehicle which is designed for race. You can't go into a race with a family sedan, right? That's the aspect of it. Similarly, if you're going into wilderness, Swiss Army knife might help you to survive, but you need specific tools, like if you're walking through the bushes or something like that to clear your path, and so on. But you need those specific tools. You cannot get into a race in a family van. That's what Zoom is. Zoom is a specific tool for collaboration. It's not a Swiss Army knife, but it's a specific sharp edge tool for delivering excellent collaboration, which means it has instant messaging, it has video conferencing, it has voice, it has conferencing rooms, it has got API integrations, and a whole lot of other things. So that's the power of it. That's the first element. The second aspect is, if you look at even why individuals, why is everybody loving it Zoom, right? Why everybody says it just works? Because whether you are on mobile, whether you are in remote area, whether you don't have bandwidth or you have a old legacy PC or laptop, Zoom just works. The product is so strong that it is capable to adjust itself on the lower bandwidths of poor infrastructure or even poor hardware. That's the second aspect. And the third and the most important aspect is the culture of our organization. I would attribute it to that, because all the employees, right from whoever the lowest of the lowest people to the CEO himself, everybody has a sense of humility in them. We all remain humble and listen to our customers. That's the key aspect to it. And I think that's why customers love us. That's the reason why they keep on coming back to us.
All right, Mr. Rajay, thank you very much for your insights. And we hope to catch you again on Zoom very soon. Thank you so much for your time.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Well, time now to wrap up this edition of the Daily Dispatch. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Goodbye and stay safe.